Hi, beautiful people. So, I just wanted to cover a topic that I actually have written about before, but I'm wondering if it would be more impactful if I was to put it in video form. So, here we are. So, I wanted to talk about a life lesson that my sociology professor in college told our class about. So, she basically said that humans experience life in four different ways. And they're all important in their own ways. However, there are a couple that are more important than the others. So the first one is things that feel good in the moment and are good for you over time. So the first thing that comes to mind, I think of like laughing, spending time with my family, going outside. This is kind of those things that might be different person to person. What feels good for me and is good for me overall in this category may be different, right? Some people enjoy like socializing out at bars and stuff like that, just being around people, reading a book, listening to podcasts. So it might be a little different person to person, but you know what you're doing is good for you and it feels good on the inside. The second category are going to be things that feel good in the moment, but aren't good for you over time. So that would be like eating a container of Oreos every night. Again, I'm food freedom. However, when you have food freedom, you know that over time, doing something like that isn't good for you. Moderation, of course, is amazing. But when we're talking about this, it's stuff that's like over time. So when you're doing these activities consecutively, you have procrastinating. So it feels good in the moment to procrastinate. However, over time, procrastination can really hinder your life, both professionally and personally. The last one I would think of for me would be like skipping workouts. So I know sometimes skipping a workout feels good in the moment. However, over time, my body is definitely going to yell at me and give me signs that it needs to move. So over time, that would not be good for me. The third category are things that don't feel good in the moment and aren't good for you over time. And this one was like a little harder for me. I think I had to dig a little deeper for this one to think of examples for you guys. And the first one I would say is negative self-talk. So it doesn't feel good when we talk bad to ourselves, whether that be verbally or just internally. And it's definitely not good for us over time. Another one would be lying. So when you lie, you get that like feeling in your stomach, or at least I do. I feel it like in my lower gut. And of course, over time, it's not good for you. The other one hit a little hard for me when I was coming up with this one. So it's saying yes in the moment, but really meaning no. So I guess it could fall under like not being true to yourself, but in those moments, it doesn't feel good to say yes when actually I mean no. And that behavior is not good for me or anybody over time. And then the last one for me is the most important, and I think it's a lot of where our growth opportunity is. So it's things that don't feel good in the moment, but are actually good for you over time. And the immediate one that comes to my head would be burpees. I genuinely don't know a person who is like, I want to do burpees. However, we know as an ex-athlete, I know that, yeah, they suck, but they make you a better athlete at the end of the day. Some of the other ones are like getting up early for work, making sure you're having enough time. And the biggest one, and why I say it's a growth opportunity, would be stepping out of your comfort zone. So in that moment, it feels super yucky and like your bodies might be rejecting the idea and may like give you physical symptoms that it does not want to be in that situation. However, you know in this front part of your brain that this is your growth opportunity and it's good for you over time. If we stayed in our comfort zone forever, and some people may do that and that's their choice. However, I personally know that I wouldn't be able to do that. stay stagnant and like live that same repetitive lifestyle over and over and over again. I'm a dreamer and I have big plans for myself, and I know to enact those and to get the ball rolling with them, I'm gonna have to step out of my comfort zone a lot. Okay. So when you think about those, they're all important. They're all important. They all have a role to play in our life. Everything that's happened to us holds a lesson. And although I would say to hold on to number 1 and number 4 for as long as you can, like if you're feeling funky, you need to do a number 1 or a number 4 activity. And remember, number 1 is things that feel good in the moment and are good for you. And number 4 is things that don't feel good in the moment but are good for you over time. So although going through experiences with the other ones, right? Like having negative self-talk and saying yes when I mean no, they've all taught me a lesson. And yes, they're still going to occur sometimes. Same thing as things that feel good in the moment but aren't good for me. I'm still going to go out sometimes and drink a little bit too much. I may procrastinate. However, when you have a healthy balance with all of them as well, they're not so hindering to your life. So again, I don't want to make a villain out of 2 and 3. However, over time, they could really hurt you. But yeah, this is something, I feel like things that happen in your life, especially like going to college and some of the lessons that you learn, they really like stick with you. And this was definitely one of them. Like I've always held on to this lesson. So I hope it was impactful for you. But yeah, so I just wanted to share it via video, and this is like my first official video, so it's a little exciting. You can see my little cat in the background, Valerie. She's sassy like her mom. Pay attention to me. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. Pete, you're so reliable. This is my other cat. You just want loving all the time. No. Okay, so thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Talking about number 4 experiences, me making these videos and like sitting in front of a camera, that's my number 4. I know that when I stepped out into a life coaching career, that I was going to have to do stuff out of my comfort zone. And this is one. So stay tuned. There's going to be more. I have no idea what I'm going to be talking about in those videos, but they're coming.